The Michigan Football Report is presented by Manscaped. Folks, I used to use a razor down below to keep things clean. It turned into a scary event, just like Halloween, right? It's a spook fest because there's all kinds of things going on, right? Get Manscaped, manscaped.com, promo code GOBLUE with no spaces, get you 20% off and free shipping. Get the best in the business men's grooming products. First question coming up on today's show. We're talking a lot of things, right? You got a little mailbag, got a little stats. It's going to be a fun show. Baylor Wiggins says, who's the player we aren't talking about that needs to show out for this game, right? Baylor, one thing before I answer this question is, I've been meaning to message you. My bad not syncing up on the Michigan-Hawaii game. Rain delay, got close to the stadium. You sent me an address, but I wasn't that really familiar where each street was, and there was no cell signal within a quarter mile of the game, and we were trying to find, I wanted to come to your place, have a couple beers while it was raining, but nevertheless, the cell signal on Michigan Stadium is absolutely trash. There's still no Wi-Fi at the fucking stadium, and as such, I couldn't even message you back. I couldn't go on Google Maps and find the house, and there you have it. And we're going to just walk around aimlessly in the pouring rain. But here's the question: says, who are we not talking about? And we have a big game now. This is a well-known player, but Donovan Edwards, folks. That is my eyes on Donovan Edwards tomorrow. He has been featured all week in the passing game. All right, Yoder, you can't tell Penn State. They're gonna know the strategy. If you think Penn State is watching this show on Friday afternoon, they're already in Ann Arbor, and they're going to change their offensive game plan by tomorrow morning, you're kidding yourself. But maybe they are. Who knows? We'll see. Donovan Edwards will be a part of the passing game. He has 7 catches so far this year, 4 against Iowa. Hasn't really made much of an impact at all. Had that one big catch against Hawaii. He's had a couple touchdowns here and there. But from a passing perspective, 7 catches in the year. He had 10 in one game last year against Maryland. So I think this is the game that, if they keep the offensive strategy of lulling people left with Blake Corum, little Schoonmaker over the middle, and then Donovan Edwards maybe going deep and going out as a wide receiver, screen pass, or that little arrow route where he comes out, think he's going up the sideline, and cuts back over the middle, wide open. J.J. McCarthy hits his classmate, 45, 30 yards on field. He runs for an extra 15, 20, scores, or gets tackled. That's what I'm expecting tomorrow. Keep an eye out for Donovan Edwards as a Michigan fan. Tell your friends, hey, Donovan Edwards have a big game today. You might look like the smartest guy in the room. I'll ask you guys this question, see who is the smartest guy in the room. Over, under, I'm setting the number at 2.5 catches for Donovan Edwards, Michigan's superstar-ish sophomore quarterback. Should be the man, at the running back position starting next season. Give me a O or U. Just comment the letter what you think he'll do, over or under 2.5 catches tomorrow. Clearly, I think he's going to go over. I bet he has, I don't want to say like 7 catches or 8 catches. That might be crazy to think about, but I bet he has 4 or 5 is where I'm putting it. So let me know U or O or U. All right, you are watching the Michigan Football Report. We are going to take some mailbag questions, and I'm going to talk about a few rumors and just little insights, nuggets of information that we've picked up this week going into tomorrow's big-time matchup. One of the best days in college football of the year, probably the best day outside of opening weekend, which is always fun. The best day of college football so far this year. You've got USC, Utah, Tennessee, Alabama, TCU, Oklahoma State, right? Another undefeated matchup. And then Michigan, Penn State. Who is it? Oklahoma, Kansas, producer Sam says. Big-time matchup there. The Oklahoma team that's lost, 3 games so far? 2 games? Whatever it is. But that is that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we do, with game time coming up tomorrow, game day, make sure you follow me on Twitter. I'm putting out great insights there. I'm tweeting out some plays here and there. And then, of course, I'll link the post-game video as soon as we have it up, the fastest post-game show. So make sure to follow me. I put a halftime video out, I think, for the last 4 seasons, halftime of every Michigan game. Maybe I've missed 1 or 2, but certainly haven't missed one since the 2020 season when they just went to shit. So if anything, follow me at James Yoder for my halftime report video that we only put on Facebook and, of course, my Twitter account. Tony says, why doesn't Michigan Stadium ever do a blue out? Interesting question. Would look sweet, especially with the all-blue jerseys for a big home game. Love the show. Go blue. 2 reasons, all right? Number one is, I guess 3 reasons. There's 3 reasons. Number one is Michigan's fan base historically has been pretty bad at all wearing the same colors, right? You get so many people wearing just a gray coat or something like that to a Michigan game, big Michigan fans. It's such a weird thing to me when I see it. And the second thing is that Michigan would have to, if you do a blue out, they would have to go all in, right? They're doing pom-poms for the game tomorrow, right? Those cost like 75 cents a piece to produce, so it's not that expensive for Michigan. What Michigan would probably have to do, folks, is they would have to give out blue T-shirts, right? They'd have to probably spend with, just manufacturing costs, probably like a super cheap T-shirt they'd probably get for $4, right? Maybe $5. So they're going to have to spend $500,000. Maybe they're too cheap to do that. Certainly, I think they could, but they haven't yet so far. If they did, it would make sense and potentially do. What was the third reason? Oh, the third reason is blue is a dull color, right, in a lot of ways, right? It doesn't stand out. Red stands out in some ways. Maize stands out, and it makes it like really interesting on screen. Why does Penn State not do blue outs? They do whiteouts because white is really easy to see. Blue doesn't stand out as much, and when someone wears like a red coat, right, when you see it when Ohio State plays every year, and you see a bunch of Ohio State fans at Michigan Stadium, they stand out like a red, or like a sore thumb in a sea of blue. So that's really the reason why. If I had any faith in either Michigan or the Michigan fan base, I'd love to see you do a maize and blue like every other one, like Tennessee does. Watch the Tennessee game tomorrow. You'll see what I'm talking about. One section's all orange, one section's, white, gray, whatever. They just alternate their colors. I'd love to see Michigan do one of those, but I don't think they'll do a blue out because of the reasons I mentioned. Folks, it is time to end those days of shaving and kind of making yourself look better down below the waist, and it ends up looking like a horror movie, all right? This Halloween season, you got to get going with Manscaped. I've been using Manscaped for several years now. My favorite, the Lawnmower 4.0. You can take that bad boy in the shower. It's rechargeable. It's got a little light. You can go as close to you want. You don't end up looking like a bloodbath down below. Terrible thing to have happen to you. Manscaped is the product that I use on a daily basis. I've got Manscaped lip balm. I have Manscaped in the shower. I've got the shower gel. I've got the Manscaped shampoo. I love Manscaped. Manscaped boxes as well. You can get 20% off your order. Go to manscaped.com, promo code GOBLUE, no spaces. The Platinum package that you see on screen is everything that you're going to need. It lasts a long time, too, right? That shampoo I've been using for 6 months now. It's not even halfway over. It's typically over $200. $154.99 is the list price for the scrubs out there. You can get it for $123.99, folks. Such a great deal. Such amazing stuff. Holiday season, gals, get it for your guys. Guys, tell your gals, hey, get this for me if you want to kind of have things spice up in the bedroom. Hell, buy it for a coworker or friend who you just think needs a little got her groove back when it comes to what's happening down below the waist. I use Manscaped. You should too. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE, 20% off and free shipping. My guy, Carl Cordell, number 2 in your programs, number 2 in our comment competition a couple weeks ago. He had 270 some odd comments, something like that. He says, does Roman Wilson play? Is he key to the downfield attack? And isn't it time to target Andrew Anthony more? We all know his abilities. I'll tell you more about my answer here, but before we do, we're getting so close to 22,000 subscribers. We just need 197 more. 22,000, I'm giving away 2 T-shirts to a new subscriber in the last week and to an existing subscriber. And I want to do that. We've given away 1 T-shirt, sent it out on Monday to our 357 or 371 comment man, and I want to give one to you guys as well. So help us get to 22,000, and we'll send out some T-shirts. And you know what? Send it to a friend. YouTube.com/Michigan TV. Say, subscribe to the show. Quit listening to the boring local radio guys or the nightly news in Detroit or wherever you live. Watch the Michigan Football Report, a new Michigan football video every single day of the 2022 season. So you asked about Andrew Anthony. You asked about Roman Wilson. Yes, Roman Wilson will play tomorrow. If he doesn't, it's a wild surprise. It means they're making some sort of game time decision that has not been made as of early Friday, right? He was able to play last week. They decided to hold him out for the big game. I'm really concerned with what's going on with Andrew Anthony, though, right? He's only caught 5 catches this season so far. Both these guys are, I think, Michigan's best 2 downfield threats. Wilson being maybe the fastest guy in the whole team. Andrew Anthony mixing in size and speed. If you saw yesterday's show, you know Michigan's going to take some deep shots later in the game once they lull that Penn State defense in with screen passes, with runs, and with tight end and wide receiver, dump-off passes. Once they do, these are the 2 guys. If they make plays, Michigan wins and probably wins easily. If they don't, right, if Wilson has 1 catch and Anthony's 1 or 0 or something like that, Michigan might lose this game. This, though, folks, this is the week. This game against Penn State is the week I think we're going to learn what this offense can be with J.J. McCarthy, right? Some people are going to say Jim Harbaugh's holding him back, right? But he's had opportunities. He has had 6, 7, maybe even 8 throws this year that if he puts them another foot shorter or longer, whatever it is, he's been 3 feet off, 5 feet off, 7 feet off from having 4 or 5, 6 more touchdowns, maybe a few hundred more yards, right? And we're going to find out this week because Michigan is going to give him at some point his opportunity to have a breakout game, all right? Think about the games over the years where quarterbacks have just kind of really surprised you. I think 2006, Michigan-Notre Dame, right? Michigan went into Notre Dame, and everyone complained for 2 years. They don't give Henny enough chances to throw downfield. Him and Mario Manningham hooked up for 3 first-half touchdowns, just kept going deep, deep, deep. I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily here where they just have a deep ball offensive onslaught from the start, but J.J. McCarthy will get his chance tomorrow to go deep, probably 4 to 7 times at this game where he's got a chance of a 50-plus yard touchdown pass. And if he puts those in stride, we know what we're cooking with here with this offense. If he doesn't, I don't know. There's been some talk about McCarthy's lost his confidence after the Iowa game, after the Maryland game where he couldn't hit those deep passes. If he does it again against Penn State, I don't know. Maybe we've got a guy who needs a little confidence boost with J.J. McCarthy. Coming up, we're going to answer some questions on Mike Hart and the Michigan football offense a little more going into this Penn State game. But before we do, I'm going to switch topics a little bit and talk about Jesse Minter's D, right? This D that Jesse Minter has brought to Michigan, right? He's got such good D. It's really performing well. His D has performed very well so far this year on and off the field. That's a joke. Ranked number 2 in the Athletics initial stop rate, right? I don't really like the Athletic that much, but I thought that this analytical look at defenses that they came out with on Thursday was intriguing enough to talk to you guys. Number 2 stop rate in college football of any defense. Now, what is a stop rate? It's very simple, actually, right? I'm surprised no one's come up with this before this year. It's just the percentage of drives that the defense gets punts, turnovers, or turnover on downs. They go for it on 4th down and don't get it. So, okay, interesting, right? Let's take a look at the standings, the stats, the leaders. Minnesota's got the best stop rate of any defense in the country, 85%. But Michigan's number 2 there. But look who's number 5, right? Penn State, Big Ten West favorite, maybe Illinois right there at number 4, and then San Jose State, whatever, at number 3. Okay, so 83% of the time. That's great, right? That's 5 out of 6 drives, something like that Michigan takes the defense off the field with no points. And it's be interesting to see if that continues against Penn State, but you got 2 of the top 5 stop rate defense. So you might be looking at a punt fest here coming up tomorrow in Ann Arbor. Intriguing to see what Jesse Minter has done in his first 6 games as Michigan's defensive coordinator. This stat, though, right? If you look at the national champions over the past 6, 7, 8 years, they're always in the top 5. So good start for Jesse Minter. He's got some good D that everyone in Ann Arbor is liking so far. My guy, Bri says, do you think Michigan's offense can get moving quickly before the 4th quarter? It really seems they wait until the 4th quarter to get the offense going. Yes and no, right? They've started out really well, of course, dropping 40 points in the first half or around there in those first 3 games. But in the Big Ten season so far, it has been a little perplexing in the first half. The first drive, Michigan has come out the last few weeks looking great. Excellent first drives. The second and third drives are key tomorrow, though, because Michigan has struggled after the first drive, right? They've come out the last 2 weeks in particular. They came out looking amazing, both those drives, right? J.J. McCarthy last week hitting a few passes, then all of a sudden Blake Corum takes off for 50 yards on, I think it was his first run, gets down to the 1-yard line, pops in for a touchdown the next. 2 weeks ago, J.J. was everywhere, Blake Corum was great, and then they have a nice reverse play to Ronnie Bell on the touchdown, and then the offense sputtered from there the rest of the first half, right? We told you on Wednesday, a lot of that was against Indiana because Mike Hart makes some of those run-pass, not decisions necessarily, but recommendations to Harbaugh and the 2 offensive coordinators. He wasn't around for that, so Michigan kept kind of running into a brick wall of Indiana defenders. The second and third drives, I am looking at those in particular because Michigan certainly has come out with great scripted drives the first drive of the game, the last 2 weeks in particular. But after that, it's been kind of a rocky going of it until Michigan gets into the locker room and can make adjustments for halftime. Jason R. says on Twitter, Yoder, here's sort of a 2-part question. Will Mike Hart be on the sidelines this weekend? As of right now, 23 hours till the game, the answer will be no. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Mike Hart's feeling great and he'll be back. But as of now, the answer is no. If not, how will his absence be impact the running game? I don't know how much it will impact the running game, but certainly the communication, right? This offensive philosophy, offensive game plan we talked about on Wednesday of Mike Hart keeping an eye on what the defense is doing and making recommendation whether they go pass heavy or run heavy on the next drive. And he says, will it mean more pass heavy offensive game plan despite Penn State's secondary being one of its strengths? I don't think they're going to have a pass heavy offense early on, but the second half I expect more passing no matter what happens in the first half, right? Michigan's got plenty of receivers who can catch the ball here, but it has really been the Ronnie Bell and Luke Schoonmaker show. 20 catches combined for those guys last week. Schoonmaker is going to make a run at Michigan's all-time tight end record of like 51 or something like that by Benny Jopru back in 2002. And Ronnie Bell's turned out a heck of a year, right? He's had 8 catches. He's had 11 catches in games. He got to get in the end zone a little bit more. But J.J. McCarthy's only interception of the year came last week on a Ronnie Bell touchdown, end zone route where the ball was tipped away. I'd like to see him get in the end zone a little bit more. But if these guys all have games, if we're sitting here on Saturday afternoon and say these 4 players have 15 catches combined, I think that means Michigan wins the game. So Jason, thanks so much for the question. Expect Mike Hart to not be at the game in a coaching capacity. I don't know if they're going to have him, on the sideline in some way, but I doubt it if he's not able to coach. Fred Jackson will, but I don't know if I think it's probably illegal to talk to people, but don't think that maybe Mike Hart won't be able to communicate in some regard. Even if he's watching from his house, watching from Schembechler Hall. I bet he'll have some sort of impact during the game, even if he's not in the sidelines. If you made it to the end of today's show, you are part of my squad, my boys, my homies, my gang. Type squad down in the comments. I'm going to give about 25 or so, the first 25 people to type out squad, let's just say, I'm going to give shout-outs on tomorrow's post-game show. So subscribe if you haven't, youtube.com/Michigan TV. We'll have the fastest post-game show for Michigan football anywhere on planet Earth coming up right after the game tomorrow. Until then, go Blue.